What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another Wednesday night with the Sanchez Show. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. We are live every Wednesday night, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Shout out to everybody over on Instagram. I'll be going back and forth, getting into the comment section on that side. Um, it is Wednesday, February 18th. We got to give reactions to NBA All-Star Weekend. I thought it was a dud, but we're going to get into some of the questions on that. We got the Bleacher Report top 100 list. We got bold predictions for the second half of the NBA season. I see the questions already in the comment section. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to Pooh. Shout out to Kyrie. Shout out to Squeeze. Let's start out by sending our thoughts and prayers to the family of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who passed away yesterday at 84 years old. Definitely thoughts and prayers out to him for all of his great work in the community, his activism, someone who has been around and on the scene and helping people of color for quite some time. So definitely thoughts and prayers out to the family, man. Can't start the show without that. Let's get to some of the questions. Kyrie, I'm going to start with this. This is the most recent question that's came in. We're going to start there. How can the NBA stop tanking? I don't think they can. I know it's a hot topic right now. Everyone wants to know what can be done to stop tanking. The problem is when you have the type of incoming class that you have coming in right now, where there's possibly four really good players. I don't want to throw around the word generational talents. I think that gets overused, overdone. But I think when you have that level of and that quality of a class coming in, it's very tough to tell teams, hey, don't tank. Don't try to position yourself for this young guy. I think that's just too tough. I said this last week, I think what the NBA should implement is kind of a lottery type of tournament. I would say scratch the in-season tournament, end of the season, do a round robin with the teams, either the bottom four teams or the bottom six teams, and create a round robin format, similar to what you saw in the All-Star game, kind of a round robin, one game elimination format. And the winner of that is guaranteed the number one pick, whoever loses in the championship games, number two, so on and so forth. And so what it will do is teams will still tank, of course, to position themselves, but then you would still see competitive basketball at the end of the season. Which is probably what is a bigger issue for the NBA, because I think what's going to really happen right now, we've already seen it. Teams position themselves to tank with the trades they made at the deadline. Today, the Sacramento Kings announced two of their key guys. Now, granted, they're out of the race, any playoff contention, we know that. But two of their key guys are already being shut down for the season, with Zach LaVine, with Domantas Sabonis. I mean, it's crazy to think that in February, a team would shut down their two best players for draft positioning, but that's what the Kings are doing right now. We've already seen Utah shut down Jaren Jackson for the season. We know the Wizards, even though they traded for Anthony Davis and Trae Young, do not plan on playing either one of those guys for this season. So I think what the NBA should do is, hey, we can't stop you completely from tanking, but we're going to find a way to make it competitive towards the end of the season. We're going to find a way to make sure that you have to play your guys at the end of the season. And that's why I would implement a lottery type style tournament or round robin, where it would force teams to then have to play their guys. Because if you were in the round robin format, and if you're the Wizards with those two guys, you would have a chance to win that round robin format and possibly get the number one pick. Of course, you probably would play hard for those last, 6 games. Same thing with Utah, same thing with Sacramento. You would fight hard to try to get one of those top 2, top 3 picks. So now really losing is winning for you. You want to have as many quote unquote ping pong balls in there to give you an opportunity to get the guy you want. So I don't think you can stop it all the way, Kyrie. I think the only thing you can try to do is find a way to make it more competitive, especially with these bottom teams. Squeeze said, yeah, if Trip Girl come on later, get some of the ones you may cover before they come on. Yeah, we definitely, like I said, we're going to go through some of them. We're probably going to be live for about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour tonight. So some of the questions that's up now, we'll go through them. And then, like I mentioned, tonight we're going to be doing bold predictions for the second half of the NBA season. We got to get into this Bleacher Report top 100 quarterbacks, and we're going to give our thoughts on All-Star Game weekend. Kyrie, I'll save your question about All-Star Game weekend. Ron said, Pistons will finish with the NBA's best record. True or false? I'm going to say false. Right now, they're 2 games behind Oklahoma City for the best record. I think the Pistons are a good team. I don't think they're going to have a better regular season than Oklahoma City. I also think that there's something to kind of keep in mind that if the Pistons find themselves going into that last 2 weeks of the season and they've got a pretty comfortable lead for number one overall in the East right now, they got a 5-game lead, 5.5 over Boston. 6-game lead over the Knicks. Those are the closest two teams to them. They play the Knicks tomorrow night. They've already won two of the first two matchups, so they got a tiebreak over the Knicks. If they're comfortable going into that last 2 weeks of the season, I don't think there'll be any push from the Pistons to have to get the best record overall. I think it'll just be more about, all right, we secured number one in the East, and we'll go from there. So I don't think they will. I'll say false, but they'll be in the mix. They're a very good team, and it's a quality question, and it's something quality for them to strive for, but I don't think it'll matter that much for them. Squeeze also said, this is the first comment of the night. Are the Eagles inconsistencies fixable? Are the Eagles inconsistencies fixable? I spaced out there. And then also Panthers don't commit long-term to Bryce Young. So I'll start with the Eagles side of things. They are fixable. One of the main issues they've had, and one of the reasons they've been so inconsistent the last couple of years, up and down, pause, is that they keep switching offensive coordinators. And it's tough to kind of solidify your identity and stay consistent when you've always got a new play caller and a new offensive scheme. I believe Jalen Hurts, since he's been a starter there, has had 5 different offensive coordinators, right? So the part of being successful is that teams want your offensive coordinator. The bad part of that is now you have this revolving door of guys who are calling plays, philosophies, strategies. And so I think that's where they need to be more consistent. They've got to just solidify who their guy is and stay with that guy. But I would say yes, they could fix what their inconsistencies are. AJ Brown, I think going out is gonna change some things. The mindset in that locker room a little bit. I think right now it is a locker room divided. I think Saquon has got to get back to where he was 2 years ago. Some of that is play calling. Some of that is him. I don't think he looked as explosive this year. And I talked about that, especially early in the season. Last season, he came out very strong right out the gate, wanted to make a statement for going to Philadelphia. This year, he kind of seemed like he was kind of going through the motions. Maybe his body was still a little banged up from last year's Super Bowl run, but he got better as the season went on. He just didn't look good throughout the season. So that's something to keep in mind with Saquon Barkley. But they can fix that. The Panthers, they're not committing to Bryce Young long-term because ultimately, let's call it what it is. This was his 3rd season. He's been up and down. He's lost a starting job at points. Now that he's played well and he led them to the playoffs and had a good playoff game, they probably want to see one more year from him. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be year 4. They got to make the decision on that 5th-year option. I think they'll pick up the 5th-year option. I just don't think they'll give him a contract beyond that 5th year unless they see another solid season from him this year. He's going to have another good year this year before they commit long-term. So ultimately, I expect Bryce Young to be on the Panthers for at least 2 more seasons, the upcoming season and the following season. But they're going to monitor it closely. Now, the Panthers haven't done a good job as an organization. We're not going to sugarcoat the shit. We're not going to make it seem like it's been only Bryce Young. They have not done a good job. They've invested a lot of draft capital in that offense. Not only Bryce Young, both those receivers, Ted McMillan, what's my man, Xavier Legette, the tight end Sanders. These are all young guys that they've invested draft capital in. And now they've got to kind of shore up that offensive line and a little bit on the defense. They got some playmakers on defense. They're solid. They're young. I thought their defense was really good and really impactful this year. But they're going to still have to figure out their O-line situation. There's been talks that they might be in the trade rumors for a veteran receiver to come in next to those young guys. So we'll see how that plays out. But they got 2 years to figure it out with Bryce Young. Like I said, they're going to have the 4th year coming up, and then they get to opt into that 5th year, which because he was the number 1 pick, I would be surprised they don't opt into the 5th year. At the very least, you opt into the 5th year. You see if something changes, you work out a new deal with them after that. But right now, they don't have to. So I don't think they make any long-term commitment to him. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. I'm going to save some of these right here. What are your thoughts on Ron Harper's comments on LeBron and his kids? I thought it was a jab at LeBron, unnecessary jab at LeBron. I understood what he was trying to say. It's something that a lot of us have said before, that LeBron is very hands-on when it comes to Bronny, and and has been involved with the decisions around Bronny's career so far. Ron Harper was saying the opposite, but it's not even a fair comparison. And this is more towards Ron Harper. Ron Harper never had that type of pull and never was going to have that type of pull, right? His name holds weight. There's people within NBA circles who know who he is and respect who he is. But he was never gonna, what type of control was he gonna have over his kid's career? It was never gonna be on LeBron's level. Nobody was trying to cater to Ron Harper or kiss Ron Harper's ass to get in his good graces. So I don't think it was a fair shot at LeBron. And as you guys know, I've been critical of LeBron, especially the last couple of years with Bronny, some of the decisions he's made. But in this case, I think Ron Harper, there was an unnecessary jab. He didn't have to go at LeBron for the way he's been involved in his son's career. Kyrie said, will the Hornets make the playoffs? I think they will, Kyrie. Looking at the standings, right now the Hornets are 9th in the East, so they would be in the playing game. Now, everyone beneath them is pretty much tanking. Atlanta has no incentive. I think Atlanta's tanking. Atlanta's 10th right now. Chicago's definitely tanking. We saw that with the trades they made. Milwaukee more than likely is tanking. They didn't trade Giannis. There is no timeline on Giannis coming back. Right now, they sit 2 games out of a play-in spot. Even if they make a run, I don't know if it's beneficial for Milwaukee at this point. So I don't really see them trying to be impactful. We know Brooklyn, Indiana, and Washington are all tanking. The teams in front of them, Miami and Orlando. I think Charlotte makes the playing game for sure. And then I think Charlotte finds a way to get to that 8th spot. I think Charlotte is better than Miami. I know they're 2.5 back in the standings right now. I just like the way Charlotte has played. I think they're better. I think the fact that they can shoot the 3 ball the way they shoot it makes them better than Miami. Shout out to LaMelo. I saw he was in a crash, nothing crazy earlier today in Charlotte. Hopefully he's all right. He looked like he was fine. Looked like a simple, just, it was a traffic accident. I might have lost control of his car there, but no major harm. Definitely no fatalities there. So shout out to him. But I think Charlotte does make it. Trip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know when you're ready, bro. I believe Charlotte will make the playoffs this year. Shout out to my brother Trip. Young Trip is in the building.
What's going on?
Not much. I'm gonna leave this question up for you. I was going through some of the questions. Kyrie wants to know, will the Hornets make the playoffs this year?
I believe so. I think they have a pretty good core, especially with LaMelo being there. It's crazy because I don't think anybody thought LaMelo was going to wind up being the best out of all 3 of the brothers, but I think he's going to lead them to the playoffs this year. Now, I ain't going to be a top 5 seed, but I think they can finish in the bottom half of that.
Yeah, no, they're not going to be. Like I mentioned, right now they sit 9th, so they would be in the playing game. Mm-hmm. I think they will make it in as a play-in team. I think they're better than Miami right now, just because of the way they shoot the basketball and the style of play. I will say I did think LaMelo was going to be the best of the 3, but I thought he was going to be the best of the 3 because he was already playing above his age. He was playing against high school kids when he was in middle school, and then you saw it starting as a freshman and what he was doing. So I kind of knew him even going overseas playing pro against men at the time. I kind of knew like he probably had the inside track to being the best out of the 3. But yeah, I think Charlotte does make it. Shout out to Pooh. We're gonna throw this question up right now. Let's get to this before we get to some of the other topics tonight. Actually, hold on. Squeeze said, congrats on another Women's Legend interview. You have to get her back ASAP. A lot of good questions just didn't get to. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Miss Valerie Still. We had her on Monday. It was a great episode. If you guys haven't checked it out already, it's in the archives, Real Fans, Real Talk. Head over there, check it out. We're going to get her back. As you mentioned, Squeeze, there was a lot of questions that we weren't able to get to. That was unintentional, of course, guys. We were on live for about an hour and a half. And just as it sometimes happens, sometimes the conversations take you down certain roads and you ask follow-up questions and maybe you don't get to all the questions. So that wasn't intentional, guys, but we definitely don't get it back. It was a great time, great energy with her. And she seems excited to come back and talk with us as well, Trip.
Yeah, she knows that you guys have been asking. So we're gonna work on scheduling something this month. Hopefully, we'll get that done this month. But I'm gonna speak to her tomorrow and see what we can do. But she knows that we want her to come back on so we can get this part 2 in and get to the rest of those questions.
Right. Shout out to Pooh. This is the question I actually wanted to put up. We got to get to this, bro. So my question is, what do some fans want to happen to Michael Jordan? Lose his empire, go to prison? I don't think he did what some say, but do some want him done? Trip, you want to go first on this?
Oh, man. This is man. I think we was gonna get into this so early in the.
You want to circle back to this? We can circle back to this.
Yeah, let's come back. Let's come back to this one. We're gonna get back to this one.
We'll circle back to this. I'll say this, Pooh. We're gonna get to this. I want to say this. I want to start the show saying this because just in case the question doesn't come up, we gotta address this, right? There was a lot of y'all, not just in this comment section, but we saw on social media regarding Jay-Z. Was he in the Epstein files? There was some people that questioned. We talked about this last Wednesday. Tripp and I talked about it last Monday. And one of the things Tripp and I always say is that it seems like the rumors seem to always be louder than the truth. Now, I don't know if y'all saw, but there was news today that came out that said Jay-Z, any mention of his name in the Epstein files has already been investigated. There is no connection between Jay-Z and Jeffrey Epstein. His name was only mentioned in emails that were written where his name was mentioned, but never in connection to Jeffrey Epstein, never in connection to anything that took place with Epstein or the island. So for all the people that wanted to see Jay-Z's name slandered, y'all got to be just as loud now as y'all was when it was just rumors. Y'all can't now pretend like y'all didn't see the post, because I know y'all saw the post. Y'all saw every other post. Now, conveniently, I expect people to be quiet, but we'll get to that. Speaking of, Squeeze said DJ Vlad's comments on Jay-Z, Rock Nation, Tory Lanez, Megan for the end of the show. All right, we'll save it for the end of the show, Squeeze. We'll save that for the end of the show. All right. Trip, let's go through some of these questions and get to it. All right. Let's see what we got here. Let's start here with Kyrie. So is this Kevin Durant burner account rumor real? So the NBA looking into it. Trip, what are your thoughts? And have you heard anything new regarding this Kevin Durant burner account and what they're calling the KD files?
The only reason I'm gonna say this could possibly be true is because we went through this before with Kevin Durant having burner accounts. So I'm gonna have to let this one play out. But it's not like we haven't seen this happen before with Kevin Durant. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But again, you still got to show the proof.
It's KD hasn't said anything. Obviously his team hasn't said anything. The NBA really hasn't addressed it. Right now it is a rumor. The problem is, as you mentioned, Trip, there was this instance before. KD has been passive aggressive in his past, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So obviously whoever leaked this felt or was close enough to KD where they felt like it was time for the world to see this. For KD, I've said before, Trip, I think KD's legacy, because I know we love talking legacy, and when I say we, I don't mean me and you, I mean the people. Mm-hmm. His legacy is always going to be a tricky one, because in terms of just on the court, he's one of the greatest of all time. But the additional stuff, going to the Warriors when he did, leaving the Warriors the way he did, the way he's exited other teams, Brooklyn, Phoenix, the burner accounts, these type of things, his lack of leadership and being in question of those type of things, I think changed the way we view Kevin Durant. I think when it's all said and done, we're all going to say he's one of the greatest we've ever seen on a basketball court, but we're going to wonder, was there still a lot left on the court because of all the other bullshit off the court? Like I said, the burner accounts, the leaving teams, the behind the scenes beefs, and why couldn't it work out? Why didn't it work out in Brooklyn? Why didn't it work out in Phoenix? Why does it seem to be falling apart now in Houston? So all those things will be called into play one day. Yeah. Squeeze said, I think KD at practice today says he don't want to talk about Twitter. Yeah, KD was at practice today. There was some footage that came out. And like you said, he doesn't want to talk about it. Do with that as you will. A simple nah, that ain't true from KD could end the whole thing. So to say I don't want to talk about it almost seems like, I don't want to get into specifics because it's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Trip, you and I gonna get into this. What's your thoughts on All-Star Weekend, the dunk contest, 3-point contest, and All-Star Game?
Mid.
Was there any part of All-Star Weekend that you liked?
I mean, I like the fact that USA won, but outside of that, I mean, my man Anthony Edwards got the MVP, so that I was happy about. You know, I love Dame, but you ain't play all year, and then they being getting the 3-point contest. It's kind of like, you know, it don't for me. It don't give the same feeling. You know what I'm saying? And then the dunk contest ain't been the dunk contest for a very long time. So now it's just like I think what would have made it better is if it was just one game, USA versus the world, as opposed to this tournament round robin, whatever the heck they had going on. It should have just been one game, USA versus the world. Let them go head up, and that's it. I think that would have been lit. Then I probably would have been a little bit more interested, but it was mid.
Yeah, I thought it was trash the whole weekend, to be honest. The dunk contest was trash. Jace Richardson almost gave himself a concussion. Jackson Hayes was out there doing basic dunks. The 3-point contest, as you mentioned, we're in an era with all these young shooters, and yet we're reverting back to Dame Lillard, who hasn't played all season. And then you have this format that I understand why they did it, and I think it was okay. I'm not going to trash the format, the round robin format. The only thing I would like to see is I would like to see them implement the rising stars into this format, and so that way we kind of get like three different eras playing at once. You get the young rising stars, like you can combine a rookie and sophomore team of the best 12 rookie and sophomores.
Yeah.
You have your vets, and then you have your young guns, right? Like we saw your Anthony Edwards, your Devin Booker, all those young guys, and you kind of let them duel it out. But other than that, I didn't like it. You're playing one quarter. I guess they expect guys to go all out in that one quarter, but then you saw what the final game looked like. It was a blowout because the veterans were gassed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's basically you're basically asking somebody to play three straight quarters in order for them to win this round robin format.
Yeah.
And so we know that's unrealistic because in a regular game, you wouldn't leave a group of guys out there for three straight quarters. And now you're asking them to do it, 10-minute quarters in an all-star setting. So that's the only thing. But overall, I thought it was a bad weekend. I don't think the NBA improved on anything, or it wasn't, to me, it wasn't a good weekend for the NBA. Kyrie said, I know Trip, AKA Clutch Sports, didn't pause long when asked about Michael Jordan shit. Y'all better not go there. I can't wait. We going in. We gonna
All
talk
right.
about the Michael Jordan shirt.
Listen. Well, I'm confused as to what is it that y'all want me to say is a video that shows everything. I so I don't know what did y'all want me to defend the MJ? Like what was y'all expecting?
So but hold on. Let's lay out the facts, right? It's already been talked about by multiple people that were there that during the celebration, because MJ's race team won that race that day.
On the 500, yes.
Right. The young man was part of the celebration. Mr. Unpopular Opinions in the building, Will Gordon. We're going to get to the MJ conversation because we already got two questions about it, so we got to get to it. All right. This is what's been laid out. They were celebrating winning the Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm.
The young man, his dad, is part of that team. He was in the celebration. He get dosed with water. There's ice, yada, 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 whatever takes place. There was one radio report that talked about it, that the young man had chunks of ice in his back, and MJ's pulling at his shorts in his shirt to get the ice out, and he's joking with the kid. The kid's dad was on Stephen A. Smith's show today saying the same thing. He saw no malicious intent from MJ. His son, there was old pictures that surfaced of his son as a toddler with MJ holding him, so the family knows MJ. They have a relationship already, and so I don't know what else people expect from this situation. Like, people want it to be something malicious, but the kid's dad and the people that were there in pit row have all said there was nothing malicious about it. So I don't know what people were expecting to be said.
It's you know what it is. It's that people are gonna just look at the video and see that and be like, nah, MJ's on some other ish. But if you gotta look a little deeper and listen to the story, listen to what the people are saying. And if that's what everybody's saying, I mean, I would hope that as a parent you would not lie to protect protect Michael Jordan if you know what I'm saying if he was touching your child inappropriately.
Right.
Now, you know what I'm saying. I would hope that as parents, but I've seen crazier things. But again, if the parents are saying no, that's not what this was, then what am I supposed to say? But it
Look,
does look crazy to the naked eye when you just watching
right.
it and you seeing the video without any
Uh,
context.
Ron, repost your comment because I'm not showing it above the first MJ joint. I show a different comment you posted. Repost that comment again, though, Ron. Go ahead, Will.
Well, what's good, bro?
What they do, baby? Man, that shit ain't. It shouldn't even be no story for real once you get explained what you were seeing. You know what I mean? And it makes 1,000% sense of what you were seeing. You know what I mean? Like the motion and all, and it makes 1,000% zero sense that people would think that if Michael Jordan was doing something like that, that he'd do that right there in that moment. If like it's just, I think the whole everything around is ignorant as hell, and it just shows you that football season's over.
The news
The
cycle is
NBA
over.
All-Star weekend was whack, and it ain't nothing else to talk about. Because for real, I think the whole anybody even questioning is kind of stupid. Like for I mean, I ain't gonna miss words. I think the whole people thinking MJ's out here doing something crazy is stupid.
Like I
Especially
said,
after the explanation and everything else. Like it looked wild. Like
it
Trip said,
did.
to the naked. Like when you see it, you're like, whoa, what the, whoa, what? But then when it's explained, come on, man, what we
Bro,
doing?
when I first saw the video, I sent it to both of y'all before I even heard any explanation because I thought it was wild.
Yeah,
Like, why the fuck would Mike do that? Right? So I felt the same way. And then when I heard the explanation from the radio host who was there, who was explaining, like, nah, in the midst of them celebrating, the little kid had like water and ice all down his back, and MJ's pulling at his shorts and his shirt to like get the ice out. I'm
yeah.
like,
And
all
that's
right.
it. You in broad daylight with all these people around, that would be kind of crazy.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you was on that type of time, and that is like you real bold with it if that's the case.
But and then, like I said, the dad was on the day, and then they started showing pictures of the little boy as a toddler. Like the family been around Mike.
Yeah,
Mike was holding the little boy like in pit crew, like laughing and joking with him. So it's like they got a relationship. Like you said, I doubt that Mike would be that wild to do some shit like that. You already have the relationship with the family, and now you're going to be disrespectful. Like I highly doubt
we're gonna do this
that that's
in
how it play out.
public. I'm just gonna I'm gonna
Yeah,
violate.
that's what I'm saying. Like I highly doubt that's the way it's gonna play out. But so what I said before, and we got to get to the Jay-Z comments later.
Mhm.
The rumors always tend to be louder than the truth. Now that the truth's come out, nobody wants to talk about what's being said. Everybody just still want to focus on the video and what they interpret that as
Did Nikki
opposed to what other people are telling you is the truth.
did Nikki put up a tweet about it
Nikki, about what?
about the truth about Jay-Z?
I don't know if Nicki Minaj knows the truth from the lie anymore. I don't think she knows.
Got you. Just making sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because what
Just check.
happens is no, because what happens is Trip, because of the environments. I'm not saying personally, because of the environments we all from. Will, you know this. Sometimes when people be on the coke binge, you don't know what day of the week it is. So the coke, it could be Wednesday, but the coke have you thinking it's still Sunday. You know what I'm saying? She ain't caught up to the news cycle yet. She still think it's Sunday. She still.
What did Jay do?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Oh,
But
okay.
but
I was gonna miss something.
no. Remember we talked. Somebody have mentioned Jay, and they was trying to tie him to the Epstein files, and then it came out today that there is no connection between Jay-Z and Jeffrey Epstein. There was never any connection. His name is thrown around in emails that other people have wrote, just referencing his name, but in no connection. But like I was telling Trip before you came on air, when it's the rumors, everybody got something to say about the rumors. When the
Look,
truth come out, those are the posts that they overlook. Nobody saw those posts.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get to a couple more questions. Then we're gonna get to our topics for the night. As always, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the show. We're live every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Then we're back Monday, 7 p.m. Real Fans, Real Talk, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere else. Let's see what we got. I like this one from Pool. What's your expectations of the Cavs in the second half of the season? As it stands right now, they are the 4th seed in the East, a game behind the Knicks, game and a half behind Boston. Will, I'm gonna start with you. You're in that area. Do you think James Harden raises the ceiling of this Cavs team?
On 2K, he does, but I still don't really see how this is going to work down the stretch, and especially in playoff basketball, when rotations are shortened, the spacing isn't there that is in the regular season, and you can play a lot more physical defense in the playoffs. I really don't see where this backcourt of Harden and Donovan Mitchell can coexist, where both of them can be the best that they can each be. Neither one really has ever been one known to play that great off the ball. They both like to dribble the air out the ball, and I just don't see where in playoff basketball this is going to be. You're going to have to make a decision on who's going to be taking shots, who's going to have the ball in their hand when in clutch situations. And in a relationship where you just putting them together basically at the trade deadline, I don't see where that's going to turn into something that can be something that's going to put you deep into the playoffs. I think Cleveland's going to. I think they might be set up to be out in the first round again, like they were last year, and they were a better basketball team last year, in my opinion.
Well, the only thing that held them back last year, they lost in that second round series, but remember Garland was out the whole playoff.
Yeah, they did have the injury. Yeah,
so that did change a little bit of how they expected to be in the playoffs. But Trip, what do you think? What are your expectations for the Cavs second half of the season?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think James Harden improves that team because I think he does. Because prior to James Harden getting there, it's really only Donovan Mitchell that could really just go out there and get you a bucket on any given possession, right? Now I know you're talking about all of this off the ball stuff, but the reality is James Harden has turned into more of a facilitator. So I think it's really just about him going there, and I think it'll be different as opposed to him going to Brooklyn, because I don't think there's as much pressure as it was in Brooklyn as in Cleveland, and they have a much deeper roster. They have guys that can play defense out there. So even if he's lacking on the defensive side of the basketball, you still got a defensive player of the year out there in Evan Mobley. You still got Jared Allen out there. They got wings that play defense. So I think he can actually help them because they're going to need in the playoffs somebody else that can score the basketball. You know what I'm saying? That damn near will.
My concern with James Harden is he flames out in the playoffs. And so I think offensively they have the potential to be better.
Do you think this is the best team that James Harden has played for overall?
No.
As far as depth of their roster. Because even when he played in OKC, I know you have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, but you don't have prime Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook yet.
I mean, I can't say this is the best version because I don't really like the Cavs bench too much. Like, I like Donovan Mitchell. I like Evan Mobley. Jared Allen is really good. But outside of that, they don't really have much depth. Lonzo's not there anymore. DeAndre Hunter's not there anymore. So they don't have the same depth that they once had. Now, I think Harden can be good for them because Harden is a great facilitator. The problem is the Cavs have flamed out the last couple of years in the playoffs because it's really been Donovan Mitchell and then nobody else shows up. And so that falls in line again with how Harden has played in the playoffs and how Harden has flamed out in the playoffs. They needed a secondary guy. I understood why the Cavs made the trade. I think this trade also speaks to more how concerned they were about Darius Garland's health, because to trade him for a point guard that's 9 years older than him, knowing that this pretty much is your window makes no sense. Like that's you wouldn't even, Will mentioned 2K. You wouldn't even make that trade on 2K. You wouldn't trade for a point guard 9 years older than what you already have.
No, but I think because the window is so
The
open.
window is now, right? The window is now. They're trying to see if they can maximize because they're scared Donovan Mitchell can leave. And so
1 year run out of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. And
that's what they're hoping. But historically, a lot of teams have said that. Brooklyn was hoping to get a 2-year run out of James Harden. The Clippers were hoping for that. Houston was hoping for that. So it hasn't worked anywhere else. To me, I can't believe that it's going to work here. And Will also brought up a great point, the spacing. One of the bigger issues with the Cavs has really been they can't play both their bigs in the playoffs. They've struggled with that lineup in the playoffs. So I don't think James Harden makes that any better for them now. They're still going to have a lot of issues with floor spacing. They're a second-round team to me. They can win the first-round matchup. They should win a first-round matchup. But would you pick them to beat the Pistons in a series? Would you pick them to beat Boston in a series? Would you pick them to beat the Knicks in a series? I don't think they could beat any of those three teams in a series. So to me, their ceiling is second round.
I don't think they could beat them in the 7-game series, but I do think they can make it out of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I expect them to get out of the first round, but I don't think they get beyond that.
Well, we got to see them actually play with James Harden a little bit more first, because I might feel differently depending on how the season ends.
Give me a bold prediction for the second half of the season. What's something that you think nobody's talking about, or what you feel could be a bold prediction?
Really, I could see the 8 in the East winning in the first round, depending on who goes and who's the 1 seed. I really don't believe in the East this year. It's like I'm not like, I know y'all are Knicks guys, but if Jason Tatum was healthy, I think it would be Boston and everybody else, because I don't believe in the Knicks. I don't believe in Philly. I don't believe in, like, if I look up and down the East, it's a bunch of teams that could be good, but everybody's got a ton of question marks. So I think this is one of those years where you can see the 8 seed mess around and take out the 1 seed.
It's possible. Listen, I agree with you. I think the West is stronger. I think no matter who comes out of the East, depending on a matchup, they might not be able to beat OKC or Denver. You know what I'm saying?
Will be the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Say that again.
My bold pick will be the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I mean, it's bold, and I'm not saying it can't happen. I just don't think they could beat those other 3 teams in a series. For me, my bold prediction, I think they're a year ahead. I think San Antonio comes out of the West. I think the way they play defense, Wembanyama is already elevated into a top 10, top 5 guy in the league. I think they're going to give anybody fits in a series out West. And just like I said, the way they play defense, to me, they're really, really good. Night in, night out, they're not going to get run off the court. So to me, I think they come out of the West. In terms of what Will said, I agree with you. I think the West is stronger than the East. And so whoever comes out of the West, one of those top 3, top 4 teams is going to be a favorite once they get to the finals. The only thing I don't agree with, to say, if Tatum was in Boston, it would be Boston and everybody else. Tatum was there last year, and they got bumped in the second round. They weren't a juggernaut last year with Tatum, and I think their team last year was better than their team this year. With Drew Holiday, with Porzingis, they were a better team last year. So now if Tatum comes back, maybe he proves me wrong. I just don't think he makes that big of a difference. I think the East is what it is. A bunch of teams that are very close and very competitive with each other, but the West is better. I do agree with that. What we got here? Pooh, I see you. I'll save that for the end right there. I'll save that last. Yep. What else we got? If not, we're going to get into some of our topics for the night. We already talked about our thoughts on NBA All-Star Weekend, bold predictions. Bleacher Report, guys, put out their top 100 quarterbacks list. We're not going to do the whole 100 list because we would be here all night. That's its own episode. We are going to do the top 10, though. For those that didn't see it, Brady, Montana, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers are the top 5. Elway at 6, Brett Favre at 7, Drew Brees at 8, Steve Young at 9, Dan Marino at 10. And then a couple of notable guys that are in the top 25. Troy Aikman is at 19, Kurt Warner's at 18, Big Ben's at 16, Matthew Stafford's at 20, Warren Moon is at 21, Jim Kelly at 22, Eli Manning 24, and Russell Wilson 25. Trip, I'm gonna start with you. Any complaints regarding the top 10 Bleacher Reports top 100 quarterbacks?
Well, first and foremost, Eric, what I feel like we need to discuss is why does their top 4 look like our top 4 from a couple years back? That's what
Because we set the trends.
All right. Because
remember when we said when Mahomes is on the verge of getting to the Super Bowl, what was that? 4 times in 5 years, and we said then he's on a Mount Rushmore. People, you're bugging out. That's ridiculous to say. And now, like you said, here we are 3 years later, and Bleacher Report is confirming he's on a Mount Rushmore.
So with that being said now though, but yes, I think the only problem really that I feel like I have with the top 10 is I feel like Mahomes should be higher. I think Mahomes
higher than number 4.
Whoa.
I think he should be.
So who's dropping? Because all those guys' resumes is better than Mahomes, and I love Mahomes, but his resume is not better than Brady, Montana, or Peyton Manning.
I think he's gonna go up on that list.
I think he's gonna go up in the future, but we're talking about today. Today, right now, who's his resume stronger than?
Everybody that's behind him.
Well, that's why he's at number 4. I'm saying who's in front of him that he should.
He can stay at 4 right now.
Okay, yeah, because you say he should be higher. I'm like, who's dropping?
I'm saying he will be higher, is what I'm saying.
But when it's all said and done, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Will, any complaints about the top 10? And I feel like you and I are gonna have the same complaint, but go ahead.
Now I might surprise you. I think Brett Favre is too high. I think Brett Favre is 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him at 7. I think I would put my shit's slowing down. Who's number 9?
Steve Young.
I put Steve Young in front of Brett Favre and Drew Brees.
I agree with that. I think, to me, Drew Brees is borderline number 10. To put him at
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to say. Drew Brees is up and down for me. So I got more issue with like the back end of the top 10 than the top 5 really. Mahomes at 4, I was kind of like with him being so like new.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, but
I'm kind of like, damn, 4.
He got
like, but
everybody that's he's in front of. He got a better resume.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's just kind of shocking that you know.
Yeah.
Because this is basically like if he ain't never taken another snap, then he's the 4th best quarterback of all time. That's hard for me to say, just because it's so current and so in the moment for me.
Yeah.
But really,
sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's just hard for me to say. But yeah, I got an issue. My main issue is 7 through 10.
So we just rotate in and put in Steve Young, then Favre, then Brees.
I would put Marino above Brees. I think Drew Brees is like
if it weren't for that Super Bowl, that's the thing. Yeah. That's the only thing that's keeping Marino.
That's why he's not
behind Brees for me.
Yeah, that's the only thing that
the only thing
has on his resume that he could say he wasn't in the moment. He was not a better quarterback than Dan Marino.
And
there was never a time. There was never a time that we debated if Drew Brees was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-mm.
But that's his problem. Here's why it sucks though, because the Super Bowl is a team award, but we still gonna hold that against you. In
their debate, right? If you put Brees and Marino, the fact that they both only went to one Yeah, that's got to be the deciding factor because Breeze, they both were underdogs in their Super Bowl, but Breeze won his and Marino did. Now,
Yeah.
if
Breeze
Breeze
was
got
the Super Bowl MVP.
right, he
So
was Super MVP, right? Now, if Breeze had got to like 3 or 4 Super Bowls and that's the only one he won, then I think it's a different conversation because then it's like, hey, you have way more opportunities. But because him and Marino both got one opportunity, he won his and Super Bowl MVP, he gets the edge. But to me, Steve Young is a way better quarterback than Drew Brees. And I know Drew Brees got a lot of records, but a lot of that has to do with just the longevity of Drew Brees. It's not Steve Young's fault that he was the backup behind Joe Montana for like 5 years. It's not his fault because the moment Steve Young took over as quarterback, he won 2 MVPs. He was a 3-time All-Pro. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler. He went to a Super Bowl where he set the record for 6 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Like Drew Brees got a chance in San Diego and then in New Orleans to start from day one, where Steve Young had to go to Canada to play for a little bit. Then he had to sit behind Joe Montana for a while. So the only thing Drew Brees has over Steve Young is the amount of Pro Bowls. But I think that's more towards the fact that he played more years as a starter. But when you look at them again, Steve Young's a 2-time league MVP. Steve Young is a 3-time All-Pro. Like he was better as a quarterback than Drew Brees, so he should be above Drew Brees. Other than that, I mean, the list is pretty solid. As you go further down, I don't know if Big Ben's really 16th overall, to be honest. I mean, I think Kurt Warner was a better quarterback than Big Ben.
I believe that as well. But you again, them two championships help you out.
But Kurt Warner played in 3 Super Bowls and he took 2 different teams to Super Bowl. So he made it to the Super Bowl. And if not for one of the greatest Super Bowl plays ever, that Santonio Holmes catch in the corner of the end zone, Kurt Warner would have won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams because he had the Cardinals on the cusp of winning their first Super Bowl. So Kurt Warner did everything he was supposed to do.
No, I know. I agree. I agree with you, but I'm saying there's going to be people that's just going to look at it and base it off of the championships.
I mean, yes and no. Because if that's the case,
Roethlisberger ahead of him because of that reason. That's what I'm saying. But
then if we're using, and this is the other thing with these lists, right? Well, I want to get your thoughts on it. If that's the case, if we're using the Super Bowl as the deciding factor, then Eli Manning should be above Jim Kelly. Because Jim Kelly ain't got no Super Bowls. Eli got 2.
Yeah.
And I don't think Eli was better than Jim Kelly. I'm being honest.
So I'm just glad my man Eli's in the top 25.
Yeah, I think he deserves to be in the top 25. I think
when it comes to the Big Ben conversation,
my son Lamar in the top 32. You see that? Don't let him get the Super Bowl. He gonna jump real high up.
Is Big Ben? Do Steelers fans consider Big Ben their best quarterback, or do they consider Bradshaw their best quarterback?
I think Bradshaw is considered their best.
Bradshaw's 15.
Yeah, this list also has Bradshaw higher.
Yeah, they probably don't even like Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, right.
One thing I think that stands out is the 10 through 20 is littered with old school guys. There's a lot of guys in black and white. And those are the guys that's hard to measure against these guys, pause, because none of us saw them play. It was a whole completely different sport almost. So it's kind of hard to, like, when they do these lists, I think it should be a year, like a era, like, you know what I'm saying, like a year cutoff or something, because I can't Otto Graham at 12 or whatever. I can't speak to that.
Bro,
like
I 1000% agree. When I saw the list, that was the first thing I thought. I'm like, how can we compare Otto Graham when the league was just learning how to throw the ball?
Right.
And it was only like 12 teams in the NFL. What are we comparing it to?
That's the thing. It's like, I can't, like, if you want to pay homage to those guys, then rank them separately. But or just make it ever since there was color TV or something. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta have a cutoff. We can't be including everybody.
Like, to me,
you know what I mean?
No, I agree. We can't. And I agree with you because, like, the one that's the toughest for me, Warren Moon was a better quarterback than Big Ben and Troy Aikman.
Dude, I'm right now. That's exactly the quarterback I'm on right now. That I'm looking at as you speak. I was just about to bring up Warren Moon, man.
Warren Moon is better than Big Ben and Troy Aikman, who are two people that are ranked literally right in front of him. Aikman is 19th, Big Ben is 16th. And this is why context matters. Warren Moon, even though he was great coming out of college, did not get a shot right away. He had to go to Canada for a few years before he even got his shot in the NFL.
It lit it up over there.
Right, lit it up over there, lit it up in the NFL when he got there. And so his numbers are always going to be a little off in comparison to other guys because he spent prime years in Canada. So it's not like he came straight into the NFL like a lot of these guys. And again, context matters. We looking at the list. Let's keep it a buck. The top 10 list. There's only one quarterback in that top 10 that isn't white. And he's half white. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right? Context matters. Like, we're talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about the position of quarterback. The black quarterback wasn't even really accepted until like 25 years ago.
Right.
So there's a lot of guys with inflated numbers on this list because they got way more opportunities than the black quarterbacks were getting. And Warren Moon is a prime example of that. That's why to me, Warren Moon, 21st isn't disrespectful because he didn't win a Super Bowl. He never played in a Super Bowl. So it's not disrespectful that you're 21. But if you're telling me as a player, if you showed somebody just a film of the person and gave them no context about what Super Bowls they played and none of that, there's no way somebody could watch film of Warren Moon and Troy Aikman and be like, oh yeah, Troy Aikman was better than Warren Moon, because he wasn't.
Yo, I'm looking at the list. See, this is why we can't have everybody on the same damn list. When I was just going through real quick and I saw Lamar, as Tripp said, he's at 28.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason he's not higher is because of the lack of getting to that next level in the postseason. You know who's in front of him?
Made it too.
And the picture of the dude right in front of him is so disrespectful, man. Norm Van Brocklin,
see,
is in front of him, one spot in front of him, with the one bar on his
helmet.
I don't know if y'all can see this. Hold on, man. I don't know if y'all can see this dude, man.
There's no way you about to tell me that dude is better than Lamar Jackson. I don't care what you say.
Dude, I can't get him on the screen, man.
No, just flip your camera, bro. Flip your camera.
Yeah. I just old man it.
How you talk about Norm Van Brocklin and then you put the phone up to the screen? Y'all see that?
Oh.
I just think overall, like I said, we're gonna focus on the top 10. I've mentioned some notable guys there because I just felt like, again, there's some guys where you could have switched it up. The top 10 overall, I'm cool with. Drew Brees, I think, should be number 10. Everybody else should go up a slot. Steve Young should go up a slot. Dan Marino should go up a slot. And if you want to put Steve Young over Brett Favre, I agree with that too, because I think Steve Young was a better quarterback than Brett Favre. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But of course, Brett Favre became America's sweetheart because he played in Green Bay and he went to back-to-back Super Bowls. Even though he only won one of them, he went to back-to-back. He's a multiple-time MVP. He became America's sweetheart. But we know what it is. Other than that, I think the list is solid. Anything else y'all want to add to that?
I think it is. I think it is. But again, we're gonna see a lot more movement in the list because, as you know, as guys can add to their resume, go up.
Sid Luckman is 31 and he has a leather helmet on, man. Yeah. Come on, man. We can't be doing this.
The list should have been. The list really should have been of the last 40 years.
And like, how far back do you want to go for the list?
The list really should have been, like I said, of the last 40 years.
Okay.
Because realistically, the reason I say last 40 years, realistically, the version of football we see now is the version we saw back. That's what we started to see in the 80s, right? Dan Marino, Warren Moon with spread offense, run and shoot offense, Joe Montana with the West Coast offense. Those are the creations that led to where modern football is. Before the 1980s, bro, you look at some of them Super Bowls, Terry Bradshaw was throwing the ball 12 times. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you can't compare, and that's not a knock on Terry Bradshaw. That's just the way the game was played.
Yeah.
You can't compare that type of football to what's being played now. I think what we saw in the early to mid 80s is a prime example of what football is now. The implementation of the West Coast offense, right? Houston Oilers with the run and shoot with having 4 wide receivers on the field all the time. Miami with Marino and Clayton and Duper and like throwing the ball down the field all the time. That really, and even the Chargers, what they were doing with Dan Fouts, that was kind of the creation of what the National Football League became. Not Sid Luckman and Van Brocklin and Otto Graham, where dudes was throwing the ball 5 times a game and most of them passes was 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. That's not the modern game. Let's get to some of the
real quick. I see a little jumble here down in the 40s that I think is interesting. Like back to back. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on who you think is better. They got McNabb and Cam Newton back to back.
I would say Cam.
McNabb was better. Peak Cam was a better version, but if you're ranking them for their career, McNabb's career was better than Cam's.
Peak.
And then they got it this way. They got it in order from best to worst. I guess in this case, they got McNabb, Cam, McNair, all in a row. That's interesting. I think that little jumble right there.
I think out of those 3, I think McNabb was the best and had the longest run as an elite quarterback. I think if you take like the best 3 years of Cam Newton, yeah, that's the best player.
Yeah.
That MVP Cam, that like that 3-year run where Cam was like must-see TV and he was one of the best quarterbacks. But that to me was really only like a 3-year run, whereas McNabb was really good for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like we can't forget McNabb. McNabb went to 4 straight NFC Championship games. You know what I'm saying? He played in the Super Bowl. Like McNabb was really, really good, bro. And outside of that 1 year with Terrell Owens, who was his best receiver? Todd Pinkston, Freddie Mitchell.
Yeah.
He was out there with some bad fucking receivers.
James Thrash.
Yeah.
Best receiver was Brian Westbrook.
Oof. Yeah, Westbrook.
Yeah.
Westbrook was great.
Yeah, that was his best receiver. His running back was his best receiver. Shout out to Kyrie. He said, did LaMelo Ball get into a car crash? Yeah, I saw the video. Looks like he kind of lost control of his car, making a turn. He didn't look injured. I didn't hear about any other injuries at the scene. Let's get to this Vlad comment. I see a couple people put it up here, so I'm gonna combine. Squeeze said DJ Vlad comments on Jay-Z, Rock Nation, Tory Lanez, and Megan for the end of the show. Let's combine that with, where's that other one I saw? Pooh said, for the DJ Vlad portion, my question is, why would he post that for the world to see if none of it's true? So some got to be true, right? No, something don't got to be true about it, Pooh. Again, context matters. When Vlad posted that, it was right after one of Meg Thee Stallion's old bodyguards came out and claimed that he had overheard her friend say that she was the one that had the gun in her hand and shot her. So then that's when Vlad said, all right, since the bodyguard's coming out, we might as well address all conspiracies. And then that's when he puts that long thread up there about everything. He was trolling in the time. He came out and even said, I was trolling, but it proved this point that the moment you say something controversial, people run with it as if it's the truth without any doing research. So nothing about it has to be true, Pooh, because he posted that literally after the bodyguard tried to come out and say, oh yeah, by the way, I did hear her friend say that she was the one who shot her.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything y'all want to add to that?
Yeah.
That pretty much summed it up right there.
What else we got? Let's see. Pooh said, I'm messy, LOL. KD is a weird ass superstar player. The Twitter shit, don't brush his head, ashy legs, no kids, no girl, or married. He's just a weirdo. Tell us how you really feel, Pooh. She just killed KD on the journey. Will, you didn't get a chance to give your thoughts. KD in the alleged burner account. What do you think?
I ain't see that. What do you do now?
So it came out during All-Star Weekend. They're alleging it's another one of his burner accounts. In there, he talks about Trae Young's breath stink. He says he said Jabari Smith don't play no defense. He also made a comment about teammate Şengün, saying they cater to this dude Şengün like he's baby Joker. He don't do shit but score. What else? He had put some other stuff in there. Now
It's really one of his joints.
And this is what the person's alleging. The person who put it out is claiming that they know it's KD's for a fact. KD has not responded. Only thing he said today at practice was like, I'm not talking about the Twitter shit. That's all he said.
Well, KD usually don't run from that.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
And like
so
I mentioned,
that's weird.
And like
that's
I mentioned
weird.
earlier, like I mentioned earlier, KD has a history of this passive aggressive shit.
Yeah, but usually if somebody call him out, he don't run from that. So I don't.
It's a weird situation.
That's strange. What's crazy though? I'm still on this top 100 list, and they got Ryan Tannehill and Justin Herbert 6 slots apart. That's insulting as shit to me.
Right. First of all, Ryan Tannehill at 99. I really wanted to go through the list, and like I know there's one quarterback they didn't list that's got to be better than Ryan Tannehill.
Did Ryan Fitzpatrick make the list?
Actually, that's a good call right there. If Fitzpatrick ain't make it, he better than Tannehill. That's a great call.
Did Johnson make the list? Because I'm thinking of like obscure quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl and was better than Ryan Tannehill during his career.
That's another good one. Yeah.
I feel like I did see his name.
I got to check.
He's like around 87. I feel like I saw him on the list.
Hold up, man. Andy Dalton is 88.
Where was Randall Cunningham on the list? Did y'all see
39.
Oh, all right.
that's respectable, you know.
No, that is definitely, because again, you got
to that stood out to me. That's how I knew. I saw that earlier. That stood out to me a little bit.
I'm trying to
think. Brad Johnson is ranked. Brad Johnson's 85.
Okay. All right. I don't know. We'll save it for next week. We'll find the guy. Guys, give me a final thought as we wrap up tonight's show. Yeah. Go ahead, Trip. Give me a final thought.
What's we doing today? What's going on?
Right? I got mine.
What's my final thought? You know what, man? We just gonna say thank y'all, man, to the supporters, man. We definitely appreciate y'all for rocking with us. That's on. Shout out to my brothers. That's all.
Will?
My final thought, man. These dudes out here gambling, y'all. These players is gambling. I don't know if y'all saw Eric, you know I be sending you the clips about the little conspiracy theories on the gambling and whatnot.
The comments at All-Star Weekend.
Yo, that's what I'm getting at. It was right on hot mics. You had I saw at least 2 or 3 joints where they talking about gambling out in the open. Well, you seen Joker talking about Luka. Well, he said Luka bets on everything. And then you seen Giannis talking about he bet on the 3-point zone. Dude, these dudes be gambling, man, and it's starting to be more. It's in our face. They don't care. Pause. They playing right in our face.
I think the guys have always gambled. I think certain guys have kind of let it out the bag, because we heard what Michael Porter Jr. Remember when Michael Porter Jr. said, if I can make sure all my guys pulling a quick 10K, 20K,
right,
why wouldn't I? So that was the first telltale sign. But the NBA and the NFL is going to have a major issue, because if Giannis can do a deal with Kalshi, which is a gambling site, right? Like you said, then what's stopping guys from being actively involved in gambling? Because if I can alter the success of a platform I'm working with, why wouldn't I do it? It's a business dealing. He's working with Kalshi. How ironic that after he doesn't get traded, they announced a partnership. Meanwhile, people were already betting on if he would be traded through Kalshi. Right. So he was able to alter the platform, because now you got people betting, oh yeah, Giannis is gone. Meanwhile, the whole time he know I ain't getting traded anyway. They pulling the money there, and then you get Dame on a hot mic saying that, yo, did you have money on it? Like, nah, bro. It's gonna be
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
crazy.
agree with you.
And the fact that the networks are right in bed with all that shit, like with all, even the way I don't usually watch like Sports Center or none of that stuff, but I caught something at my homie's house the other day, and they gave it was a college highlight, and then it was on CBS Sports Network. After the highlight, they put up if the team covered or not,
Mm-hmm.
and like they talked about it.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? And this is a college game, so you know these, especially if it's players and ain't getting that good NIL money, you know they can be persuaded. Like it's crazy, man.
It's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a major problem because these networks are in bed now with the gambling.
Yeah.
Right. ESPN has their own gambling site, the ESPN Live joint, ESPN Bet, the app. So again, who is regulating this? Who is making sure that everything is on the up and up? Because now any player can go on there and be like, oh yeah, they got me over under for 30 points tonight. I'm gonna play to under, and I'll just go for 27.
Yeah, man.
27, or guess what? I might start grabbing at my hamstring in the third quarter. You know what I'm saying? It's a fact though, bro.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Like we hoping for the best, but we got to be honest. These guys have way too much access to the information. They can alter any of this shit at any point.
I'm about to start live betting fourth quarter unders because these motherfuckers. I mean, these dudes. I'm telling you,
yeah, man.
They be.
It's tricky.
They be doing it on purpose. Oh, one final thing I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on, real quick. What y'all think about UCLA's coach tossing his own player after that hard foul, which wasn't even a hard foul. It was a play on the ball.
I understand why he did it because of the score and because of the time. He felt it was unnecessary. Now,
I don't like it.
No. I was going to say this though. This speaks to the hypocrisy sometimes in how sports are covered, right? Everybody's making a big deal about the UCLA because he took the player out. It's a white head coach. Kansas State head coach called out his team after a loss the other day, black head coach, and was fired by the school because they felt he was too harsh on the players.
Oh, they fired that dude?
They fired him.
The dude that came out and said that they deserve to wear the uniforms?
Yep, they fired him.
Wow.
Right? Now, I was listening to the coverage of both. You had some people who are applauding UCLA's coach. Hey, you got to keep, discipline. You got to keep the guys in line. But then a lot of people who aren't holding the school accountable for firing a head coach for holding his players accountable.
I disagree with both. I don't think the coach should have been fired.
I don't think the coach should have been fired. And like I said, I didn't think it was that big of a deal to pull your player and send him to the locker room. I agree with both stands. I'm just talking about the way it was covered by the media. On one hand, you're applauding a head coach saying, good job, you got to hold your players accountable. Then on the other hand, a coach gets fired and nobody's running in his defense to say, wait a minute, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's holding his team accountable.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not mad at the player. I'm not mad at that player for going for the block.
No, I'm not mad. I mean, you're told to play tough through the whistle.
Yeah.
And the fact that the coach felt that it was so egregious that he had to make it about himself, and then that's what I feel like coach was doing. I think coach was making it about himself in a moment where they up 20.
He's
making it about himself, and like, oh yeah, and throwing his own. Come on, man. He didn't. It wasn't a dirty play. He played the ball. And there was no reason, and they called the foul. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason for you at that moment to send him to his room. You know what I'm saying? That was some bullshit.
I agree, bro. One last thing. I started off the show. We're gonna end the show. Thoughts and prayers out to the family of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who passed away yesterday, 84 years old. We can go on and on about his accolades, but obviously, most importantly, he gave a voice to our community. So we got to salute him and show our respect there. We're gonna be back next week.
We had this service for Claudette Colbus. She was a civil rights leader. She actually was the first person to not give up her seat on the bus before Rosa Parks did it. They had the service there, and Reverend Jackson's daughter came and spoke at that service, and then a week later, this
Yeah.
happened. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, definitely. Rest in peace. We're gonna be back next week, fellas. We're gonna talk off air because it's a slow news cycle. So we might have to bring in a movie or music topic for next week.
Ooh, I got a few in the pocket.
I bet. We'll, like I said, we'll talk off air. We'll coordinate one. But for my brothers, Will Gordon, Trip Young, I am Eric Sanchez. This was the Sanchez Show Wednesday night. Make sure you guys tune in Monday, 7 p.m. Real Fans, Real Talk. And then we're back
Hey,
next Wednesday. 7
and shout out to y'all for the joint you had with the young lady on Monday. That was a good interview, man. That was
Appreciate
good shit.
that. Yes, sir. Shout out to Miss Valerie Still.
She fine still too. That's what I was saying. I was to go get in the comments. I was going like, dang, you fine still. I was gonna be respectful, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to get in.
You know, she's watching the show, right?
Yeah, I catch y'all, fellas. I hit y'all. I'll text y'all, man.